at properties of Boolean algebra. Boolean algebra. And whenever here, if you talk about plus sign, think about OR gate. And when we talk about the dot, think about AND gate. Okay. Now let's look at the first property. First property, if you have a plus 0, that's equivalent to a. For example, if you put 1 for a, 1 plus 0, that's going to be 1. And if you put 0 for the a, 0 plus 0, that's going to be 0. So whatever the a value contains is going to be the final answer. Now let's look at this one. A plus 1, that is 1. In OR gate, if you have a plus with 1, like if you have plus 1 at any point, the whole thing is going to be 1. So here it doesn't matter what a is. A can be 0, a can be 1. So anyway, it's going to be 1. And the third one is, if you have a and a bar, it's going to be 1, because let's say if a is 0, then a bar is going to be its complement. 0's complement, that's 1. So 0 plus 1, that's going to be 1. Even if it's a is equal to 1, 1 plus this is going to be 0, but still if we have a 1, in OR gate we just have to have 1 1 in order to make the whole thing 1. So since we are definitely going to get a 1, the answer is 1. And then let's look at this one. This is a dot 1. Think about AND gate. In AND gate, like we get, like if you have 0 times 1, we get 0. If you have 1 times 1, we get 1. So it depends on the a value. So it's going to be a right here. And then 5. If a dot 0, a dot 0 is going to be 0, because in AND gate, if you have 1 0, that makes the whole thing 0. So a dot 0 is going to be 0. And if we have a dot a complement, it's going to be 0, because let's say you have a is 1, then the complement of it is going to be 0. So you can think like multiplication, like when we have AND gate, it acts like multiplication. When we have OR gate, it acts like addition. So here, if you multiply 1 times 0, that's going to be 0. So a times a dot a complement is going to be 0. Now let's look at the 7th property. If we have a plus a, that's going to be a, because think about this, think about 1 plus 1. In OR gate, 1 plus 1, that is 1. In OR gate, 0 plus 0, that is 0. So whatever the a value is going to be the final answer. Let's look at the 8th property. If we have a dot a, the answer, like in AND gate, you can say, like in AND gate, if you have 0 0, the answer is 0. If you have 1 1, the answer is 1. So whatever the a value is going to be the final answer. Okay, now let's look at this one. Let's say we have a bar and another bar. Okay, what is this one is going to be? Think of 1. If you take 1 and complement it, that's going to be 0. And if you complement it again, it's going to be 1. So whatever the value is here is going to be coming back. So this is actually another representation of a. Now let's look at the 10th property. If we have a in bracket b plus c, that is equivalent to ab plus ac. This is simply, like you can imagine, like a multiplication. So we are just expanding it. Now let's look at the 11th one. This is the one that's confusing for most people. Let's look at this. A plus bc will be expanded like a plus b, a plus c. This is the confusing part for most people, like why it is here we have a plus bc, why it is like a plus b, a plus c. Because when you think about mathematical way, it doesn't make sense. But if you solve it in Boolean algebra, this is going to make sense. Now let's try to prove this one. So here what I'm going to do is, we can just FOIL it. A times a. A times a is one of the Boolean algebra property. See, like whenever we have a times a, let me see. Okay, here we go. We have a times a, that is a. So instead of a times a, I'm just foiling it. Okay, foiling, multiply this one by this one by this one by this, and this one by this. So a times a, that is a. And then a times c, that's ac. and then b times a, that is ab, and then b times c, that is bc. So here you can see we have a, we can take a common for three things. If we do that, 1 plus c plus b plus bc, and whenever we have 1 in OR gate, it makes the whole thing 1. It doesn't matter whatever the value you are adding, it's going to make the whole thing 1. So this is going to be a times 1 here. The whole thing become 1. And then we have b plus c left alone, and finally we get a plus bc. That's how we derive this one. A plus bc is equal to a plus b, a plus c. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And I'm going to go ahead and continue this one with my next video. See you guys on my next video.